back to Indiethon. I'm your host, BTF Watson, and this is Aeshmah with Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. Take it away.
Alright, hello everybody, like I said, I'm Aeshmah and I will be playing Vengeful Guardian Moonrider for you, a game that only released like 2 months ago at the beginning of the year, back in January. It's actually around about its 2-month anniversary at that point. So you might or might not have heard about it. It's a retro-inspired platformer. You can think of it as a cross between Mega Man and Shinobi. You know that game series back on Mega Drive. It is from the creators of Blazing Chrome, among other things, which was a Contra-like game released back in 2019. So I guess you can kind of see where the developers of this game are coming from. So welcome to the Katana block, I should say, because with this game we are kicking off a series of Katana Zero, Sudoku, for some reason, and then later on a Cyber Shadow. I guess we can all start to figure out how Sudoku fits into the mix here. But this game, I will just say this now, has a phenomenal soundtrack, so please don't mind me if occasionally I will just be completely silent and just bob to the soundtrack, and you will know why I do that in just a short while. The game has 9 stages. We will start the game on the level select screen. However, we are not able to select any other of these stages. As you can see, they're just white noise when I try to select any others. So we have to start the game on the bioweapon lab. And that is exactly what we're going to do here. So time will start once I confirm my loadout here. Since we are playing from a fresh save file, I obviously have none of the power chips available to me yet. So not much to do here other than confirm and start the run. So let's go ahead and crack our knuckles, wake up, and get this run going in 3, 2, 1, go. So we are playing as the titular Moonrider. We are, well, kind of a bioweapon, I would say, like a cyborg android kind of deal. After a mission quite gone wrong, I would say. Like, we are playing actually for the bad guys, which kind of emphasizes the design of our character here. Look a little bit evil, if you ask me. But yeah, we are now coming to our senses. We are coming to the good side because obviously we were playing for or working for a totalitarian regime, suppressing the people and whatnot, and now we are fighting back. That's basically all they need to know about the story of the game. There really isn't much going on in that front for the game, I would say, but no matter. Because the gameplay just more or less speaks for itself. Like I said, the game has 9 levels. Each are broken up into 2 stages each. So you will be facing a mini boss at the end of the first stage, and then the proper boss at the second stage. This is the mid-boss of the end of the first stage of the first level. We just try to get the shield done here. We're using our sub-weapon to, quickly get rid of that whole thing. What I was trying to do there was, doing my jumps, I get the first shot in from the cannon onto the barrier, and then hit it, because after a couple hits it will fire another shot, since we have damaged it so much, to break the shield in 4 hits. Messed up a little bit, because obviously you can't do that in 2 jumps, where you get 1 shot from the cannon and then another one after damaging it. But hey, it's the first time we're showing this off at the marathon, so we probably didn't even notice that as much. And now I'm gonna pick up the first power chip that I can. This is the MP region chip, and as you can probably tell, it makes it so that I will passively regenerate a little bit of my MP, which is the blue bar to the left of the screen there, which allows me to use my sub-weapons. Now, sub-weapons will be playing a major role a little bit later in the game, because, as I said before, not only is it Mega Man-like in the sense that you can select the levels which you go to, but also you will be picking up more sub-weapons as you go after defeating the bosses of the game. Except for this one. This is Jenna Queen. She is the boss of the first stage. She's a very big lady, also kind of frightening if you look at her. I mean, she is a bioweapon after all. What we're gonna do here is jump and hit her hand 4 times. Then mess up the 1 cycle, sadly, because if you do that right, she would be dead by this point. However, I did mess up on 1 jump attacking the head, and also I didn't get 1 slash onto the hand. But no matter, we have a backup there, because after 5 slashes, excuse me, to 1 hand, that hand will be destroyed, making it so that she opens her mouth again, and then you can actually go ahead and get those last couple of slashes in. That's like a time loss of about 8 to 10 seconds. So not a lot in the big deal of things, but obviously you do want to get that if ultra good one. Now that we have the first stage out of the way, we can select any of the other 7 stages available to us. And we will go ahead and start with Indiethon City. The reason being that we do want to get the sub-weapon that we get after defeating Photon Drifter, the boss of this stage. And this is also the level where you can kind of, you know, get into the groove of things, because this is where my chat always starts bopping along to the music, because, let's be real here, the soundtrack is awesome. And I'm just gonna shut up for a couple seconds here and let you listen to that absolute banger of a track, so get your cat jams. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the soundtrack was a big part of me actually getting the game. You know, I saw the trailers back at the end of last year that the game was gonna release in January. And, you know, I was interested in getting it. It wasn't just like an immediate buy for me, I want to say. I was like, you know, I'm cool with picking this game up a little bit later on when it releases. But then I got to listen to the soundtrack and yeah, I just had to go and get this game like immediately when it was about to release. Soundtrack is just that good. I guess it's really popping off now. So yeah, you know, if you're still a little bit groggy, you know, just having woken up, because it is kind of still in the morning in the EU, it's very late in the US, so maybe this gives you a little bit of energy to keep going and keep watching more Indiethon, and also, you know, getting your donations in for all of our awesome incentives and prizes, because, you know, we're still a little bit of ways away from our donation goal here, but I am sure we can reach that once you guys have woken up. So let's go ahead, actually explain a little bit about the stage more, because you might think that this is an auto-scroller, and it kinda is, but it also kinda isn't. Because, as you see me kill all these enemies, right? And the stage itself will only progress once you've killed all the enemies that are actually fighting you. What that means is, also, we just can, you know, stay to the right or left side of the screen here and completely bypass those traps on the track. No worries there. But, if you don't kill the enemies that are trying to fight you, the game will just loop, or the stage rather, will loop indefinitely, and you actually will not make any progress toward the end of the stage. So a big part of these auto-scroller segments is just trying to identify, okay, which of these enemies on screen are actually trying to fight me and block me from basically progressing in a way. And that is why you can see me, you know, totally ignore some of the enemies on the track that are coming up, because I know, okay, they won't actually stick around and try to shoot me. So I can just ignore them and actually go ahead and, you know, take care of the enemies that are actually, you know, worth killing, because that makes me progress stage. This is the mid-boss of the first stage here. He is, you know, kind of easy. You will start going to the left and the right a little bit, and you're just supposed to, you know, keep up with him. Every time you see the lock on kind of readjust itself, it means, okay, I was outside of the firing range for just a little bit, losing me a little bit of time, but yeah, it's maybe a second there, because ideally you want to kill him when he's still on the left side, and he was kind of the middle of the screen for me. That was the first stage of this level done. We are now in the second stage of it, and obviously, you know, we are gonna have this high-speed chase on top of cars and trucks and whatnot. As you can probably tell, you can obviously fall down into the gaps between the cars. However, luckily enough for us, this isn't an insta-kill. You only lose a little bit of health and go back to the last, well, solid ground, so to speak, that you were on. So it is a time loss, obviously, but it's not a big deal, so to speak, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Take care of this robot. And these enemies here are the worst, you know, these flyers. They will actively try to block your progress. Like, they are programmed in a way that they will always be in your way, no matter where you go. And it definitely can be a little bit of pain to try and progress through them. However, they were behaving really, really good for me there. So there was absolutely no problem getting through them. That is really rare that it happens, so I'm glad that it did for the marathon. Because guess what, this is also the first time that this game is being shown up at a marathon, so, you know, I have the honors of doing the deed here for the community. Two more of these robots. I kind of hate this fight, I don't know. In practice, I had a lot of problems with these two specifically, and I don't exactly know why. It's like, I'm doing something wrong here with my attacks or something, but this is way better than I went in practice. But hey, here we go. Those were the last two enemies before our next boss fight. We just have to go through these couple boxes here. And the nice thing that the game allows you to do is if you just hold down the sprint button, which is R2 in my case, and then a directional input and the attack button, Moonrider will just endlessly keep doing his running attack animations the first frame that he can. So you're not losing any time here, but just... This is Photon Drifter. He is the boss of the stage, and he can be a little bit of a pain. He's probably one of the bosses that I have the most trouble with for some reason, because he's the first one. We don't have a lot of abilities yet. Want to wait until he jumps over us and then quickly go to the side and then just manically start attacking him, hoping to kill him while he's there, and that was a boss fight. Yeah. As you might see, the boss fights, they can be a little bit weird in that way that they go by very fast. I was even gonna say that they're a little bit of a pushover, comparatively to maybe other games or not. However, now that we've killed him, we get the Photon Dash, which is probably the most important sub-weapon that we have in the whole run. And you can see why in just a second. However, we are going into Asura's Fleet, and I think Asura's Fleet is probably the best song in the game, or at least one among them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shut up for a second here and let you guys enjoy that song. So get your jamming emotes out, because this is gonna pop. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but this stage always gets my blood pumping like totally. I just can't help but be in a good mood whenever I listen to a song come to the stage. We're actually gonna jump over a trigger for a mini boss that I just did here. So those two dashes, if you don't land on that middle platform there, that's a completely skip a mini boss, which is pretty nice. And another reason to, love the Photon Dash, because it just propels Moonrider forward quite a distance and also deals an absurd amount of damage comparatively to everything else. And, it makes you invulnerable during the time too, so it's just a great overall skill to have. Sadly, the song is over and we are into our next mid-boss. It's this disembodied head right here. We're just gonna stick to the railing, slash it a couple times. And then we're gonna slash it some more while it tries to shoot lasers at us. This fight should be over right now, and there it goes. Pretty much full. Say so myself. And with that, we are into a pretty slow and boring elevator section, so not a lot going on right here, right now. So, Flotsam, if you want to let our viewers know anything, now would be a good time to go ahead.
Yes, I have a donation, which for $40. From last run. I apologize for not reading it earlier. The donation was from Miss Travels, commenting just in time for Piku Niku. What a great event. Love to see indie games being showcased in a marathon. Also, save the animals. This was, of course, for the Save the Animals incentive in the Super Metroid Ascent run, which is currently at a $155 total donation. Save the Animals is winning quite handily, $30 to $25.
Okay, sadly I didn't get the quick kill on this mini boss here, because what you can do is you can kind of line yourself up on the vertical slice on the platform here, and if you just mash the dash button most of the time, you will actually kill that mini boss before he has any chance to act. Like, he will just die on the right side there. I guess my mashing wasn't quite up to that task though this time, so we did actually manage to go through his little spiel there and make it to the left side and back to the right side. But hey, that's just what happens on, right? You can't be perfect all the time. That would just be inhuman, I'm saying. And yeah, as you can tell, this level actually has quite a few of auto-scrollers. We've just had the elevator section. Now we have this floating platform thing propelling us through the rest of the ship as we are still looking for Asura. And we'll come through these barriers. your progress. However, with just 3 of the photon dashes, they will be dealt with. And you also saw me pick up another power chip, which was the Soul Eater. Now, the Soul Eater makes it so that every time I kill an enemy, I will regenerate more MP. And coupled with the MP regen chip that we picked up in the very first stage or first level of the game, the second stage, I now have a lot of MP regen. And again, we need the MP regen to be able to use our sub-weapons. And as you probably can tell, you know, the Photon Dash will be probably is the most used sub-weapon in the game or in the speedrun, because it's just so good. You know, it gives you speed, gives you damage, it gives you invulnerability. It's the whole package. However, we will be seeing a couple other sub-weapons as well throughout the run, mainly the Dark Portal and the Geocrash a little bit later once we get them. So we're nearly at the end of this auto scroll right here, right? Coming up on more obstacles in our way, just have to stay a little bit to the side here. Nothing too much to worry about. Then we will come to one or more of these eye laser barriers or whatever you want to fancy. And then we will be in our next boss fight, will be Storm Chaser. But first of all, we actually found Asura. You know, there he is. Hey Asura. Bye Asura. Yeah, anyway, this is Storm Diver. We can exploit her eye a little bit by running at her, like right at the start, and doing a running slash at her, which hopefully makes it so that she actually faces to the right side, to the wall there. That means she will, yeah, just like that. Stay on the wall, and then we can just use our dash and kill her like that, because Photon Dash is just that good. I mean, that was a boss fight. Blink it and you miss it. If you don't get that AI manipulation, the only thing that is different here is that she will fly to the left side of the screen instead of staying on the right side. But you can do the same thing, just jump up and photon dash against the left wall, and it is the same outcome. Obviously, it loses a couple seconds because, you know, you have to wait for her to fly to the left side of the screen instead of just hovering on the right, but hey, I take what I get here. And with that, we now have the Storm Shot ability, which is absolutely useless during the speedrun. However, every time we get a new sub-weapon / we finish a level, Moonrider would automatically equip that new sub-weapon. So I have to be careful to actually switch off it before I start the next stage, which will be the Lost Ruins. And the first stage of the Lost Ruins, with this right here, is very execution heavy. There is a lot of stuff going on with us skipping good chunks of the level and, you know, these bottomless pits and whatnot. So if I just make a slight mistake here, I might be off my game. So I'm gonna concentrate just a little bit to make sure I get through all this. No question. That wasn't too bad. Good mistakes here, but the biggest trick is still coming off. We're gonna jump on this crumbling block, do 1/ for a timing, to time these flyers outright, and then jump kick off both of them to propel us all the way upwards, so we don't actually have to go to the right side and take a very slow moving elevator over that side. And that actually takes us to the next mini boss, which is this fleshy submarine kind of thing. What they're gonna do is snuggle up to it and do a running slash, or 3 of them, to kill both parts that are underneath it, then just up it, jump up on it, and you know, crouch kick it, jump up slash, and then just dash through the wall to kill that little brain there, and that was the mini boss. As you can see, it's pretty hard to keep up with the commentary because things are just moving so quickly in this game. The second part of the Lost Ruins here, we have now this little maze where we have to hit these switches in order to make some of these doors open and close. Obviously, you know, they are color-coded for your convenience, which is pretty nice, and it's actually a pretty linear path at the beginning here. It does get a little bit more complicated if you want another one of the power chips, which is the Akuniku chip. The Akuniku chip is a little bit special in that it increases your power the more enemies you kill in a stage, which, you know, on paper it sounds pretty good. Like, you know, why would we not want more attack power for our Moonrider here? However, the thing is, as we found out pretty much to our dismay, it doesn't work on bosses. So while it does increase your damage against normal enemies, it doesn't do that against the bosses for some weird. We have no idea why. But yeah, as you can probably tell, it makes it pretty useless for a speedrun because the bosses are like the biggest roadblocks. As you know, we can't just bypass most of the. So this is Dark Chaser. She is the boss of this level. As you can probably tell by the little thing floating behind her, she has a kind of shield going on that we have to destroy first before we're able to damage her. So that's exactly what we're gonna try and do. Now, luckily, you don't have to hit it exactly. You just have to hit her somewhat closely. Okay. Got it while she wasn't level up. That is good. So she's invulnerable while she is down there until she lowers her arm. And there we go. Got the hit in. Nice. Hey, got her good. And now she comes out of the portal. Oh. I dropped one of my dashes. I don't know why I did that. Normally, you can just, you know, while she's in the air, dash back and forth through her, and that fight is done. So, yeah, we already got 3 stages done. So another 3 to go before we are in the final stretch. And coming up now is the Laser Research Lab. This is probably the hardest stage in the game, I want to say, especially if you're speedrunning it, because there are so many enemies there and they so damage to you, so it's a very frightening stage to go through. That's a killer soundtrack though, so yeah. It's a bit back and forth. Anyway, let's go ahead and select them. And this is actually the level with its music that's, you know, made me, okay, I need to get this weapon. Not the stage music specifically, but the boss theme at the end of it when we go ahead and find Geocrusher. Which, you know, it's a pretty badass name for an enemy, I want to say. Anyway, keep remember to put on Photon Dash again, so we can just dash through all of these guys. And you can just see, you know, all the MP trailing behind me because I'm just too quick for those blobs to come and get me. Oh, that's already taking a bit of damage here. And these cars are just the worst. Like, oh my god, I hate them so much. They deal so much damage and they have so much health. It's ridiculous. They are very scary enemies. Oh. Okay, fumbling my way around here a little bit. We're very low health right at the moment, which makes me a little bit scared. But it should be okay, right? Should be okay. We won't die here or anything. No, we won't die. Okay, I'm taking this. Nope. Yeah, there we go. Sadly, I fumbled that a little bit. I actually did a running slash when I was supposed to do a dash, but hey, you know, it just reinforces the notion that, hey, this game is actually hard. Even though it may look a little bit easy if you're just looking at it like it is, but you know, we've killed these enemies so quickly that obviously we just skip a lot of the fight mechanics or the game mechanics as they were. But if things do go wrong, they can spiral out of control pretty quickly here. Coming up on the next mini boss, he's actually, you know, a bit of a pushover again with the Photon Dash. Just gonna walk over a couple steps to the indentation in the bottom floor there, hit him 3 times, and then we are just gonna dash through him until he is done. So, you know, it was actually a bit of a stroke of luck, I want to say, that I died, because they actually did refill all of my MPs, so I was able to do that properly. So, not a lot wrong there. Now we are on the second part of the stage, and this is actually the scarier one to do. Because we will be dodging a hacking lot of big lasers in just a moment here. So we go a little bit further into the stage. Which again, they deal a massive amount of damage. They are all cycle based. It's not these ones, it's the really big lasers that up in just once we make it past the next mini boss. If you are, oh god, good on the cycles here, you can make this fall without getting hit by the lasers. Sadly, I was a little bit off the cycle. Well, we made a little bit of a mistake. Oh yeah, I got hit by one of them. Anyway, another mid-boss. She only has a hurt box with that blue crystal that you can see pop out of her chest there. So we want to use the Dark Portal, this little tentacle thing here, to deal massive amounts of damage to her whenever that thing pops out. And there we go, that is that done. Now I'm very low on health, so I have to be a little bit cautious about how I do next part. So, okay, made it. So I want to be a little bit careful of how I progress here. And these are the big lasers. They deal massive amounts of damage to you. So I actually don't want to risk it right here because we already took it death. So I'm going to take the section a little bit slow. What you can do is just, you know, alternate between your running slashes and your dashes in order to deal the maximum amount of damage that you can to these laser barriers or whatever they are. These are cannons, I don't know. As you can see, yeah, one of these hits and like about half of my health is gone by this big ass laser there. So not a good thing to happen. You don't want to see that, you know, happening to you, especially since we are coming up on the boss already. Which is Geocrusher. He's a pretty big boy. Also a bit of a not so nice person, because you see these two scientists who are just running away for their lives there, and that guy just goes out and kills him. How we will deal with Geocrusher is I will run up to him and jump behind him. So we will make an attack and go away from the wall. Once he does that, I will just stay at the wall and let him hit me. Because what that does is, every time you get hit, you get lifted up from the ground just a little bit, meaning you are in the air. While I'm in the air from being hit, I will dash against the wall. Since Geocrusher's AI now sees me as being in the air, he will try to do a jumping kick. And since he's not on the ground, he won't be able to do his phase transition that would happen if he's still on the ground. Now, during his phase transition, he would be invulnerable, he would gain new attacks and whatnot. But since he's in the air and I'm just constantly dashing, I'm able to just instantly kill him while he's in the air. So completely skipping that invulnerable phase and whatnot, saving a lot of time and that we saw just now. By killing him, we got the Geocrush ability, which is one or probably the second most useful ability in our arsenal. Now, luckily, it will immediately get equipped, because as I explained earlier, every time you finish a level, that new ability will just automatically get equipped onto Moonrider, as we will use it here in the Fallen City to break these barriers, just like that. So it just kind of works out that we don't have to menu to actually go ahead and equip the Geocrush ability. I can also see this robot that is kind of chasing us in the background there, and I guess you probably can all already tell what's probably going to happen at the end of this stage. The big-ass robot chasing us. Can't do anything about him, but he is constantly shooting at us. Yeah, I wonder what will happen at the end of this stage. Let me think for a moment while I make my way through all these crumbling blocks and whatnot. Oop. Get the one thing that I wanted out of that. Okay, here we go. The other thing around us is just constantly falling apart. And hey, we got a warning sign, but no visible enemy yet. And oh yeah, here he is. The big boy. So, oh, what did I do there? So the nice thing about the Geocrush is it gives you a lot of iframes. But it also makes it so that if you are in the air and then use the ability, it actually deals way more damage than if you were to just use it while you are rooted on the ground. So whenever you use Geocrush, you actually want to make sure that you jump first, just a little bit, in order to get that damage increase going. And now we are actually inside of a building here, and you can kind of see this arm that is bothering me a little bit. I wonder who that belongs to. Let me think. And while I think on that, let's go through this section here. These falling rocks always come at like an interval where it's very hard to, you know, just bypass them. So what I just wait them out. You kind of can make your way up these chutes without, you know, waiting for the rocks to drop first. But it's a bit finicky. Personally, I don't like doing that, even so it would save you a couple of seconds here and there. And our robot friend is back. Only has one arm now, because remember, we did destroy his other arm at the end of the last stage, and now he's gone for good. So obviously we have to do a little bit of an escape section now, because this building is just crumbling to dust. So a little bit of time section here. We're just making our way up with a couple of very well timed wall jumps. You can use the left side here to jump onto that platform, skipping the right side completely. Same here, just, you know, stick to the left side. There is no reason whatsoever to go to the left side ever. Taking care of these guys here. Not because I needed to, but just because I wanted to. Now we're gonna do a setup for Flamestalker, the next boss. We're gonna wall jump off of that a little bit up there, and that makes it so that we are a little bit further into the boss fight arena just now. So now I will just run up to Flamestalker and do the dash strat again. I messed it up just a little bit. You can make it so that you actually completely kill him while he's still on the right side there, so you don't have to wait for his attack where he goes invulnerable and dashes back to the middle of the screen. But hey, it is what it is. And our reward for beating that boss is the Flamerang sub-weapon, which you will never see doing a speedrun because it's just absolutely useless. It's just the way that is. Let's see, you might be thinking, oh, hey, wait, this bar is for Mega Man. Like, you have the level select, we gain new sub-weapons when we defeat a boss. Do these bosses actually have weaknesses to some of the sub-weapons of other bosses in the Mega Man game? And the answer is no, they don't. So it doesn't really matter which sub-weapon you use against which boss. The way we routed out the levels was just, convenience, and where we can get the sub-weapons that we're actually using during the speedrun the fastest. Like, obviously, since we're using the Photon Dash so much, want to go to Photon Drifter first. And then we go to Asura's Fleet next because we want the Soul Eater chip. And after that, we go to the Lost Ruins because we want the Dark Portal ability, so that we can go through laser research lab and stuff like that. So while yes, it kind of does have to do with the sub-weapons, it's not because of the bosses. Also, we skipped a mandatory fight up there by doing 2 dashes on that watery section, so we didn't actually get locked in that room where these enemies just... And here we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jump kicks and then just dash through that thing. And why are you not dead, my friend? Because this boss can be an absolute pain, because you only have this little moving platform going through there, but you also have to deal with these lasers and the other projectiles hindering you, and it's just a really hard fight casually if you don't know what to do and if you're not using the dash or anything. So that strategy just makes very quick work of that. I am very glad for that. But yeah, this isolation facility, it's the mandatory water level of the game. Another skip coming up here. We're gonna spawn an enemy up to the top left, hit that switch, jump up here and wait for the platform to lower itself before we wall jump off of it. Normally this section here would be completely underwater, but since we did that little skip just now, it isn't. So we can't just, move normally through there. There are also no enemies because there are supposed to be fishes during that section. And it's just a nice little skip that we found. It looks kind of cool if you execute it. Coming up is the next mini boss. This is going to be the mermaid, or at least I call her the mermaid. I don't know what the rest of the calls her. We're going to go ahead, use a Geo Crush into a running slash, into a Geo Crush, into a running slash, into another running slash, because apparently one of my attacks apparently missed, and that is that done. Continuing here, we take care of this guy. And these fishes, once again, they are programmed in a way that they are always trying to be in your way. You have to hit both of these switches to make this platform go down and up again. So yeah, the fishes are a little bit of a problem. They are one of the only RNG sources in the game, and they can just totally mess with you if they behave in a manner that you haven't anticipated. Also, it's faster to just wall jump up here instead of waiting for the platform to rise through the water. Quickly gonna refill our HP and MP, and we are in of this level, which is what's it called again? Hydromancer. Right. There's another quick kill going on here where you have to jump onto that middle platform and then running slash him while it's still at the lower right. It's very precise to do, so let's see if I can get it. Yeah, got it. Okay. So we need only 2 more slashes and a couple dashes, and he is done. Now, if you don't get that first running slash while he's in the lower right, you just take another jump where you slash him 2 more times and then dash through him. Obviously, lose a little bit of time again, but it's a good backup to have because it's very precise to get that running slash while he is still in the lower right there. And with that, we have finished all of the normal stages of the game. So we are going into the last stretch of the game already, the last big stages that only open up, obviously, once you have finished the other ones. And this is going to be the space elevator. However, before we get into the actual elevator part of the elevator, we have another, kind of auto-scroller section going on where we are once again on the bike. And this section is a little bit special because the hitboxes while you are in these scenarios here, they can be a little bit wonky. And this has to do with the special attack that I'm using. You just saw me use it right there. It's this purple energy wave kind of thing. And these trucks. The way to deal with these trucks is that you have to kill these troopers that come out of the back. If you kill the trooper, the truck actually uses health. It doesn't matter if you shoot the truck itself, it will never use health. You have to kill these 3 troopers. And as you saw, they instantly die if I hit them with my special attack. However, since my special attack kind of waves around, you know, it has like this wavy motion, it actually has points where it actually doesn't hit anything because there is a hole in the middle. And for some reason, the truck does not have a hitbox for the special attack at all, only the soldier. Which means that if you are perfectly behind the truck, like in the right center of it, you know, where the soldier is, and then use your special attack, the special attack will actually miss, and you will not kill the soldier. Which is just ludicrous because, you know, it's still supposed to hit the truck. But again, the truck doesn't have a hitbox for the special attack for some reason. And you're just sitting there and wondering, why is this happening to me? So yeah, just be a little bit off-center, and your special attack will hit, and you'll be happy because that soldier dies, and you can progress to the stage. But yeah, I'm actually grabbing the MP refill here, even though, you know, the MP region chip is still active during these segments here, which makes it so valuable. There's another mini-boss coming up. We just shoot him thrice with our special attack, and he is gone. If you are, you know, trying to fight this guy with your normal shots, he can be a little bit of a pain, because he's actually invulnerable, I think, when he has his back to you. So, oh, you know what, actually, it's so you can see how you normally do these sections. It's just fun. You can do it. But yeah, that flying robot is not immune to the special attack like at all, so you can just use that to continuously lay into him and kill him rather quickly. Okay, gonna top up my HP here because we have the boss of this segment coming up. This is Sunseeker. He's actually the last boss of the game, and we see him for the first time here. There he is on his very own motorcycle. Gonna hit him once with my special just so that the MP region starts kicking in, so I can use another special attack in just a little while to just, you know, completely lay into him. There, I'm just gonna quick fire all my specials into him, and again, you don't want to be directly behind him. You want to be off a little bit to the side here in order to actually make all of your specials hit. Because again, if you are directly behind him at that point and shoot all of your specials, they will miss him because he's just in that little O of the wavy motion of the special attack. And now we are in the actual elevator, and I love this song again. Because it has this, you know, this rising tension building up all the while you're riding this elevator into space. And it's a bop. So it starts out slow, but the higher you go, it just builds up slowly. And I hear there. And it just keeps going and going until it basically explodes once we are at the top of the elevator here. Have I said that I really like the soundtrack of the game? I was actually fortunate enough to meet the guy who did the soundtrack for this game at ESA last month. He's a really cool guy. Not gonna lie. So Dominic, if you're watching this, shoutouts to you, my friend. And I guess while we're just riding up this thing, Flotsam, exactly, if you have anything to say, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a bit of a shame that I can't listen to the soundtrack here in the commentary booth. We have $25 from Dorian Snowball, who I believe was doing one of the races earlier.
Yes, he was doing Gibbon among the trees. Among the forest, I think.
Yep. Yep. And he said, "This is a weird looking samurai. However, the music is a banger, so I'll give you a pass."
Yeah, I've been known to speedrun the samurai games, or, you know, games featuring samurai a lot. And I mean, come on, just look at Moonrider here. He does kind of look like a samurai, right? Nobody would expect like a ninja or some sort in these kind of games, but he's just way too heavily armored to be a ninja in my mind. So he's a samurai for me, and that is why I speedrun this game, actually.
Yeah. And also, the donation incentive was for the bonus run in Stardew Valley Crafts. And I believe that puts it very, very close to complete.
Coming up, we have the boss for this level. It's a bit of a weird one. Like, it's kind of unexpected. It comes out of the blue in my mind. It's just these 4 faces rotating on a platform in the back there. So we're just gonna equip the Geo Crusher and do our jumping attacks like there is no tomorrow. Put on their shields. Geo Crusher a little bit harder. Gonna hit them while they rotate. I think that was all of them. Yep. Only I missed one. Oh god, how did I miss you? Okay. flight time was there, but hey, guess it's okay. And with that, we are into the last level of the game already. There are about 2 minutes or so left in this run. Like I said, it's going by very fast. Like, it's a phenomenal speedrun, in my opinion, because there's just speed all around. Like, as you can probably tell, I was barely able to keep up the commentary throughout this whole thing, while also trying to make this run look good. And apparently Space Station, it's a very cycle-based level. Like, if I do only the slightest mistake here with any of my inputs and my movements, everything will be off-cycle, and I'm just struggling from there on out. So it's a very demanding last stage in this kind of game. So let's hope we can make it through here. It's looking good so far. Okay. Obviously. Oh god. Ooh, okay. that was like the scariest section of the level right there, that little climb up through that horizontal laser. But hey, we made it, and we are into the final stretch here. There is one more mini boss that we have to take care of. One of these again, it is Shingen. We saw him earlier in the laser research lab. It's basically the same fight once again against this guy. He's not the final boss, don't you worry. But we will do the exact same thing. We will just dash through that guy until he's dead. And now we come into the last boss fight, which will be Sunseeker, as we've seen earlier. So time is coming up after the fight. So once these two characters run at each other and basically punch each other's lights out, that will be time. So it's after the fight, don't worry. Here's Sunseeker. We're gonna do a little bit of a AI manipulation on him, where I run up to him and jump, making him do a jump attack himself. And then we will be in his spot and geo-crush him. And then we'll just quickly, you know, deplete his health bar. And then just stand here and mercilessly slash at him. While he does his shenanigans, that will transition him into the third phase, basically, where he jumps up. We go into the lower left corner, geo-crush, wait for him to come back. Geo-crush, wait for him to come back, and then deplete itself, and time is coming up, and time. Like I said, there is a lot of stuff going on there with how we manipulate the AI and whatnot, so sorry if I wasn't able to explain everything that this game has to offer, but I guess you can see how it's kind of shaking down and what the community has been able to put together. The world record for this game at the moment is a 36:46 done by Zutibu on the PC version of the game. Now I'm running on PlayStation 5, and the difference is there obviously you have a higher FPS count on the PC version, which makes some tricks a little bit harder, some a little bit easier. But the big advantage of the PC version is that you can play this game in simplified Chinese, which makes all the text boxes that I have to mash through go by way quicker, because there's only one text box to mash through most of the time. And that saves about, I think, 30 seconds over the course of the game, which in a 37-minute run is a huge deal. So I'm always lagging behind a little bit because I am playing on console compared to most of the other runners who are all running on PC. I think I'm the only one out of 2 people on the leaderboards who are actually playing this game on console. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this showcase of Vengeful Moonrider. Like I said, it was the first time this game was shown off to the public at a speedrun event, so I'm very happy I got to do that for you. Keep donating to Indiethon, to Little Warriors. It's a very worthy cause that we are very happy to support here at Indiethon. We have a lot of prizes for you. I mean, just look at that Indiethon logo that you can win if you donate. I think like $40 over the course of the event. It's so good. Like, I really want that. So I guess I have to go ahead and get my donations in for that if I want to, hang it up in the background somewhere around here. Let's see about that. Anyway, once again, thanks to Indiethon for having me. This was the 4th Indiethon ever and my 4th run at Indiethon. So I've been here for every one of these events so far. Let's see if I can continue the streak for our next event coming up. Good luck to all the next runners. Like I said, we're just getting into the Katana block because we have Katana 0 coming up just in a little bit. And after that, Sudoku for some reason. And then we are back to Cyber Shadow, which is pretty much this game, but I don't want to say better, but it's own league. Anyway, that is it for me. I hope to see you guys again soon. If you want to see more of me, you can find me at Twitch/Aeshmah with an underscore at the end. My next project is gonna be Like a Dragon Ishin. I know it's another samurai game, this time from the Yakuza series. So if you want to see that, go check me out. And yeah, that's all of it from me. Flotsam. take us out of here.
Indeed. Yes, as you have said, T-Chat is going to be running Katana Zero next, and then there will be Boo running the Sudoku block. He probably won't be able to save an hour off that one, but it will still inevitably be fun to watch.
Fingers crossed.